Welcome to the Recap Room, your go-to place for gripping movie breakdowns, epic storylines, and hidden plot twists, all in just minutes. Whether you're catching up or reliving your favorite films, we've got you covered. Let's dive in. A young man from an ancient tribe must prove himself and learn to survive completely on his own in a world filled with constant danger. He needs to master essential survival skills in order to return home. It all begins 20,000 years ago, during the Paleolithic era, also known as the Stone Age, when he becomes trapped on the side of a cliff. We're introduced to Ta, the leader of the tribe, who picks up some clay from the ground and examines it closely. He sees something in the distance, then smears the clay on his face. He instructs the others to do the same, explaining it's for better camouflage. The time has come for a major hunt, an event crucial to the tribe's survival. Without food, they wouldn't make it. Their target, a herd of yaks grazing ahead. Ta's hand is soon crawled on by 3 large ants. Without hesitation, he eats them. Hunger has become unbearable. At his signal, the tribe roars and charges forward, brandishing their spears. But the yaks aren't passive, they rush forward as well. On one side are the desperate, hungry humans, and on the other a wild and furious herd. As the two sides approach, the moment to throw their spears arrives. The tribe forms a barrier, redirecting the yaks toward the cliff. Chaos breaks out as dozens of animals fall over the edge, but some manage to reverse course. One particularly aggressive yak charges straight at the leader's son, Koda. Koda, with little experience in hunting, freezes as the animal barrels toward him. The yak slams into him, sending him flying. Koda clings to the yak's horns, panicked as it runs toward the edge of the cliff. In a desperate attempt to save his son, Tua, his father, throws a spear. But it's too late. The yak lunges over the edge, and Koda slips from its horns, barely catching onto a rock. Tua shouts for him to hold on, but the rock gives way, and Koda plummets to a ledge far below. Though not dead, he is unreachable. Tua wants to climb down, but the tribe restrains him. They can't afford to lose their leader. With heavy hearts, they collect their hunted prey. As night falls, Tua continues calling for his son, but hears nothing. Days pass. Tua finally stops calling and builds a stone memorial for his son. Grieving but resolute, he turns to lead his tribe home. But after they leave, a vulture searching for food discovers Koda, still alive. He stirs and scares the bird off, stunned that he survived the fall. His leg is badly injured. He cries out for help, calling his father's name, but there's no reply. Determined to survive, Koda tries to climb down using crevices in the rock face, but he slips, now stuck between rising fear and falling rain. Storm clouds gather and rain begins to pour, slowly filling the canyon below. He clings to life, waiting for the water to rise. When it does, he lets go and plunges into the water below, surviving yet again. Waking up in pain, his foot now worse than before, he drinks from a puddle of murky water. He removes his footwear and sees his foot swollen like a pig's. Gritting his teeth, he resets the bone using stones. Then, he crafts a makeshift brace and begins to hobble forward. Climbing to higher ground, he finds the very stones that mark his own grave, left by his tribe. In anger and frustration, he smashes the rocks. Alone and scared, he hears wolves howling nearby and panics. He gathers his strength and flees, but the wolves give chase. A nearby tree is his only hope. Just before reaching it, the lead wolf bites his leg. In desperation, Koda stabs the wolf with his knife and climbs to safety. The pack lingers around the tree for days. Eventually, only the injured wolf remains. Koda, seeing him alone, decides to make a spear in case of attack. But when he approaches the wolf, he hesitates. Koda can't bring himself to kill it. Even during past hunts, he was unable to kill a wild boar. Instead, he attempts to help. The wolf snarls whenever Koda gets close. So Koda makes a simple muzzle and gently carries the animal to a nearby riverbank. There, he tends to the wolf's wounds. He names him Alpha. Soon the smell of blood attracts hyenas. Koda warns Alpha and carries him up into the mountains to safety. That night, they sleep peacefully, high above the dangers below. The next morning, Koda gathers herbs and water. Alpha has removed his muzzle and growls when approached. But Koda remains calm, placing a bowl of water in front of him. Alpha, realizing Koda means no harm, drinks. Over time, their bond strengthens. Koda treats his wounds with worms and manages to catch a rabbit, something he never dared do before. When Alpha tries to steal the meat, Koda asserts control and the wolf waits respectfully. After Koda finishes eating, he shares the rest with Alpha. They both recover, and a playful moment arises when Alpha refuses to give back Koda's scarf. Koda says goodbye, preparing to continue his journey, but he doesn't get far before Alpha follows. Despite being shooed away, Alpha insists on staying. Eventually, Koda gives in, and the two set off together. With Alpha by his side, hunting becomes easier. They eat well and grow closer. One night, Alpha curls up beside Koda, guarding him through the cold. The next day, they find a lake. Koda splashes in the water and coaxes Alpha in. They play and laugh. Alpha even catches a fish, and their bond grows deeper. But winter arrives, blanketing the land in snow. One night, Alpha senses something and takes a defensive stance. A wolf pack appears. The new pack leader approaches, but Alpha signals him to back off. Koda is his friend. The pack retreats. Alpha watches them leave, filled with emotion. Koda understands that Alpha longs for his own kind, just like he's seeking his family. So he tells Alpha to go. The most heartbreaking moment comes as Alpha runs to rejoin his pack. Koda is once again alone. He continues his journey, lonely and cold. One day, he spots the pack feeding. He calls out to Alpha, but danger awaits. The ice beneath him cracks and Koda falls into freezing water. The current pulls him under. Alpha leaps into action, trying to break the ice. Using Koda's knife, Alpha smashes through and drags Koda out. With freezing temperatures all around, Alpha licks his face to warm him. They build a fire and rest, side by side. From then on, Alpha doesn't leave his side. Suddenly, more hyenas appear. Koda and Alpha escape into an ice cave, but inside lurks another predator, a black panther. It leaps toward Koda, but Alpha defends him, engaging the panther in a fierce battle. Koda, unsure of a clear shot, fires his arrow and miraculously hits the beast. Alpha survives. Koda vows to never abandon Alpha. They've both saved each other. Finally, they reach the edge of the tribe's territory. A brutal blizzard strikes. Alpha, still wounded, collapses. Koda lifts him and carries him for days, determined to get him home. At last, he reaches the tribe's camp. Exhausted, he collapses with Alpha in his arms. Tua sees his son alive and rushes to him. Koda points at Alpha, begging them to save the wolf. Without him, he would have never made it back. Later, Koda awakens and searches for Alpha. He learns Alpha has given birth to wolf pups. She had been pregnant all along. She had fought to protect Koda and her unborn litter. Alpha survives, and her pups grow to be part of the tribe, forever bonding wolves and humans as companions. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome movie breakdowns. Got a favorite film you want us to cover? Drop it in the comments below. Until next time, this is the Recap Room, where stories come to life, one recap at a time.